Hello everyone, I'm Nick Peters of Deeper Waters Apologetics for Gaming Theologian, and I affirm for virgin birth. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video about if video games are a waste of time. This is something I've seen said before. I was tagged in a discussion on Facebook where someone said video games are a waste of time. You can think that, but considering there are about 3.2 billion gamers in the world right now at various degrees, before you tell them the hobby they're so passionate about is a waste of time, you should probably check and see if you can give a good reason why. In many ways, I could say any number of things are a waste of time. Going to a concert, waste of time. Watching streaming services, waste of time. Playing board games or chess, waste of time. Or dare I say it, watching sports, waste of time. Watching sports, talking about sports. I know when I was living in Tennessee, you had a sports show come on the radio every weekday where they would talk for 3 hours about sports. And I used to wonder, what is there to talk about for 3 hours with sports? But I guess they found something. Or I think about the news broadcast that was half an hour long, and the last 10 minutes are about sports. I'm sorry, I don't remember the last 10 minutes of any news broadcast I ever saw saying, today in the world of Pokemon, we saw... No, it's all about sports. And I could even say sports, if you're just watching sports, it's passive. You're not doing anything. But if you are playing a game, it is active. You are actually doing something. You are participating in a story. I can also think, though, to when I was married, my ex-wife and I heard someone who I'm not even going to bother giving his name, giving a talk on YouTube and saying, well, think about, he was using Pokemon Go. He was saying, well, you're playing this game where you could be doing evangelism. Where you could go to an art museum, or you could be doing evangelism. You could take your wife out to a restaurant, or you could be doing evangelism. You could play frisbee with your kids at the park, or you could be doing evangelism. That's a guilting mechanism. Yes, evangelism is important, but so is taking care of yourself. So let's get ultimately into the question of, is this a waste of time, and should even men my age of 42 or any other age be playing video games? It would have to depend on what a waste of time is. If you go to a concert, you're appreciating the music and enjoying it. And if you go to a museum, you're doing the same thing with whatever is on display there. If you read fiction, you're doing the same thing. So why not video games? Because video games just as much tell a story many times, and you can enjoy and appreciate them. Video games have a great socializing aspect to them. If I meet someone new on campus here that I don't know or anywhere else, and I find out there's a game connection there, well, boom, we're able to strike it up immediately. We had work going on this apartment complex I live in on campus here, and plumbing was cut off, so we had to spend some time in a separate hall, and I was sent to the men's dorm. And I'm walking the hall one day, and I see a door open, and someone who I can tell has a massive game collection. Now, I still remember who he is. We talked quite a bit about games. Games have a great way of challenging your mind, making you think about things. There are so many philosophical puzzles that are explored in games, and they're different because they make you an active participant in the story. But ultimately, when it comes to enjoying anything, whether it be comic books, board games, video games, movies, TV shows, whatever, here's what I think we should think on. What do you bring out of that impacts your life outside of that? For instance, if you like what Edward Snowden did, he did that because of video games. He said, I play video games, and this is what the hero games did, so I said, well, I guess it's my turn to be that character. There are CEOs that got their start playing World of Warcraft and managing companies. I've learned a lot about saving money because of the gaming world, where you play Final Fantasy, you have to save up the money and spend it appropriately to get the good gear, and you don't want to run out. And many of us in the gaming world know what that is like, because we get all these items and we say, I'll use them when something important comes up, and they never get used because whatever next time could be really important. And also, I think for many of us there's a drive that we get for justice, to right the wrongs in the world, go out and make a difference. You can see this, I think, many times in superhero movies and James Bond films. Why do guys like to see these so much? I think because part of us, we want to be that hero. We want to be James Bond. We want to be one of the Avengers. We want to be Superman. And we know that's not going to happen realistically. But it does feed that drive in us to go out and do something. So I'd say, if you are playing games and it is not making you a better person in the real world, it is a waste of time. But that applies to everything else. But if you are playing games and you are relishing the goodness of the world, and from a Christian perspective, the minds that God created men to tell great stories, and you are trying to live out in your games even a life of being a virtuous character, a good character, and increasing in that, I think games can be very helpful. I also think that we learn things best when we play them in games. I can still remember where pretty much everything is in the first few Legend of Zelda games because I played them so much, and that's learning. And I'd encourage people who are big into sports, try and be a bit kinder with the gaming community, because we look at you pretty much the exact same way. And there's a problem in our world today that we say, grown men watching sports all day long? Okay. Playing video games? Oh no, not that. They're both games. If anything, we're the more active ones because we're actually out there doing something in a game and thinking and using our minds. I hope this video certainly hasn't wasted your time, and that you've considered a well use of your time. And you know what else wouldn't be a waste of your time? If you would subscribe to this channel, if you'd like, comment, share, and I do have a Patreon, so keep that in mind as well. For now, I'm Nick Peters, Deeper Waters Apologetics, the Gaming Theologian, and I affirm the virgin birth.